Hello and welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where there is plenty of Barca news on the agenda. We are going to have a full update on the Spotify Camp Nou and that whole situation. We're also going to have team news ahead of Barca's final pre-season match in Asia. That is coming on Monday. We're also going to be talking about Hector Fort's situation at the club right now, Fermin Lopez, and a big update too on Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. It's all on the way, so get yourselves ready. And let's do this. But we have to begin, first of all here today, guys, with a super thanks shout out. And these are always very, very special because it's amazing to hear that the Barca family has grown by one as we all have to welcome baby Viona here on the channel today. My huge, huge congratulations. That really is fantastic. And perfect timing too. In the summer, now ready for the new season. I hope they're going to enjoy that. So I really, really appreciate the support. And what we also have here today, guys, is a hot take. Now, this could be a new thing. I think hot takes are very, very interesting. And how do you like this one? I would rather sell Dani Olmo than Marc Casado, following on there from yesterday's video. I know that we missed Balde and Koundé towards the end of the season, but we also missed Casado not being in front of the centre-backs. Dani Olmo was in and out with injury. We've got Fermin and Rafinha who can take that 10 role, and Casado's vision on the counter is unmatched. Everybody seems to overlook how much Rafinha missed Casado's long passes there, and I think actually that is a very good hot take. Now, like I said in yesterday's video, I don't really want to sell anybody that could help us, that gives the squad quality, so I wouldn't want to sell Dani Olmo. Far, far from that there. He's an incredible player. Certainly when you have him fit, he is an asset to this team. But I would certainly take the point there that we missed Casado in the second half of last season there. When he did get ruled out injured, he is a unique profile. And Barca, I think, could look at that midfield and think, oh, we've got so many players in there, we've got so many bodies. But at the end of the day, we don't have anybody quite like him defensively there. And also, like you say, in terms of the long passes, in terms of opening things up there, it's a different kind of player. And I think you've got to look to keep that. And I'm really encouraged, actually, by the news today that Barca may not be trying to push Casado out because the player doesn't want to leave. He certainly doesn't want to go from the club here. So I hope that we keep him. He is a player that can help us. He is a player that should be part of Hansi Flick's squad. Flick really likes him. So let's keep hold of him. But if we do indeed move on to the full update here on the Spotify Camp Nou and what is going on right now, are we going to be able to return in time for the brand new season? Because, well, the new pitch now at the stadium, that has now been fully installed. That is great to see. The new grass was actually brought in there at the beginning of the week. So work on that has been moving along really, really swiftly. Barca have really ramped up the work on the stadium as well. Basically, everybody right now is working round the clock. And what we're also seeing right now are some of the visuals inside of the stadium there, how things are going to look. And in the way that this is going to be a state-of-the-art modern stadium, it is going to look incredible there, particularly I'm thinking under the lights. It's all going to look so, so special. Now, what I do have to say is Laporta has basically said now, we are going to stop giving fixed return dates. I am going to stop making promises that put pressure that maybe don't really seem to work out and really don't help anything. So he's not going to be announcing things regularly anymore. Everybody is hoping right now for mid-September that they will get the permits required to host our first scheduled La Liga game. That there is going to be at home against Valencia after the first international break of the season. And I think it's a case of now, we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to give you different guidelines and different dates. We're just going to do it. We are going to deliver it. And what we're hearing in the media right now is that if we can return in time for that Valencia game, right now we're thinking there might be around 30,000 fans inside of the stadium there. That would be the capacity that would be allowed against Valencia. But as we go on, if work does progress as we expect here, that could be scaled up quite quickly to 45,000 inside of the Camp Nou. And as we go on through the season, in the months to come, that total capacity could even reach 60,000 inside of the stadium. So that right now, those are the aims, those are the ultimate goals. The club need to get back there. They need to be playing at their stadium. Everybody's hoping for it. And as of right now, hopefully, it can happen. But we do also need to talk here, guys, about Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, because obviously now, since he's had that back surgery, it has been widely reported in the media that he will be out for between 4 to 5 months with his recovery. And a lot of people are saying, well, when are we going to tell La Liga that? When are we going to go to La Liga with these medical findings? And when are we going to be able to use some of that Ter Stegen salary to register new players? Well, the situation right now is as follows. Barca are yet to send La Liga their official medical report on Ter Stegen's back surgery and the recovery. And the reason for that is because they need Ter Stegen's signature on those medical reports there, on the file to send La Liga, because basically the club would be sharing his private health data with La Liga. So they're still waiting for Ter Stegen on that one. And with the club being away in Asia right now, it seems as though they're waiting until they get back to meet directly with Ter Stegen. Again, conversations are going to happen with him, and then we can progress with this medical report with the findings that, yeah, instead of the 3 months that he said, instead of those 3 months that he claimed it would take him to come back, it's actually going to be right within that 4 to 5 month period, which would give us access right now to some of Ter Stegen's salary in terms of FFP. But of course, guys, I think you're all hoping, well, there's not going to be any problems there. Hopefully Ter Stegen is not going to make that any more difficult than maybe things already have been. I think it should be pointed out, though, that say Barca say that Ter Stegen is going to be out for 4 months, for 5 months, and they do go on to use that salary there in terms of registrations. Well, in the media today, it's been explained that if Barca were to do that, but Ter Stegen returned before that time, say he came back in 2-3 months in a sort of miracle scenario, Barca then would be penalised, with it being reported there that we would actually be penalised up to 3 times as much of the salary that we've used. So really here, Barca need to make sure, they need to be absolutely rock-solid guaranteed there that Ter Stegen is going to be out for that amount of time. And I think a lot of people are making the argument here, do we really need a player to get injured in order to register our new goalkeeper? I mean, are we really placing all of our eggs here in the Ter Stegen injured basket just so we can get Joan García registered as a Barca player? Now, Laporta was actually asked about that. He spoke about that recently. He said, no, don't be silly, that's not how it's going right now. He said it doesn't depend on Ter Stegen's injury, but Laporta did say that Ter Stegen's injury and going down that route is the most direct way to make the registration happen, which I kind of thought was interesting, because maybe that is the easiest way, maybe it is the quickest way for the club, we don't know. But I mean, if you look at last season, if we look at what happened there when Olmo was registered in place of Christensen when he was out injured, well, that may have been the easiest way at first, but when the player comes back, that's then the issue, because don't forget that Olmo was effectively deregistered. We had to go to court several times just to play him. So I think Barca here, they need to be sure, they need to plan this correctly, they need to do this in plenty of time, and we need to make sure this is all done very much smoother than what we saw last season. And today Rashford himself was asked about registrations. Are you worried? Are you concerned? Are you thinking about your situation? He said, though, no. He said, I'm not worried. He said, it's something for the club to get sorted out. I believe they're going to get it sorted. I am simply just focused right now on the training and being ready for the start of the season. So Rashford right now, he's leaving it all with the club. He trusts the club. We knew that when he came. He has put his full trust in the club to get it done. And of course, we all believe that in the end it will be done. But I just hope we don't leave it till the last minute. We've had too much of that in recent times. Let's plan correctly. Let's get this done. So ultimately, we can all stop talking and stressing about registrations. But of course, guys, speaking about those registrations right now, what we do know is that Barca could do with some money coming in. They could do with some income there when it comes to FFP, so we can get all of this done and dusted. And I would say right now, probably the most likely player to leave the club at this point in time, it would be Hector Fort, largely because there are a lot of interested parties in him. Lots of clubs right now are inquiring about him to Barca, but also because as well, Flick seems to be quite open open to letting him leave the club, letting him go from his squad there. There's reports today that Barca are not going to give Hector Fort a first-team number. And I've got to say, guys, looking back to last season, I think the writing was on the wall a bit. I think it didn't really look too good for Hector Fort, even though we had no depth, we had no cover at fullback. Flick was still very, very hesitant to actually use Fort. And then, of course, we brought in Eric García on that side. And he did really well. And I think that really hurt Fort as well. The fact that Eric García has been deployed as a right back, he has performed well there, and it's made things very, very tricky now for Hector Fort. And of course, then you come into pre-season, it's a make or break time. These are massive weeks in his future, and on the first day of pre-season, he turns up considerably late. I mean, that was an absolutely massive mistake from Hector Fort there. I mean, that's the last thing you want to do when Hansi Flick is your coach. It wasn't a good start, and he just hasn't really got going here in pre-season either. So Hector Fort right now, he looks to be on the exit ramp. It looks to be one that could happen and may, you'd think if we were to sell him, it could be a loan, but if we were to sell him, there could be several millions coming in for a player like him. But of course, guys, Barca will be in action on Monday, live again from South Korea. That will be the final match of the Asian Tour. And I would say it's been fun, it's been really enjoyable here to see the players out there, to see them playing again, and also to see the reaction of the fans in Asia. It's been really, really fantastic. So much enthusiasm, so much excitement for this Barca team, as you would expect. And we do have some team news there ahead of tomorrow's game. Let's start with Inigo Martinez, who did fail today to complete the training session, and it seems right now that he could miss tomorrow's game with what we are saying is muscle fatigue right now, that maybe he's just on the edge, he's just being pushed a little bit too much. And he didn't feature also against Seoul. He's only played 45 minutes there across the whole of the Asian Tour so far, so I wouldn't expect to see Inigo Martinez tomorrow. And another player as well who looks almost certainly out of that game is indeed Fermin Lopez. Now today in training he also failed to finish the session. He pulled up there and he did look quite down about it. He went over to Hansi Flick. He looked really gutted about the fact that he wasn't going to be likely to play tomorrow. And it was nice to see actually a bit of an exchange there between Flick and Fermin Lopez. Nice to see Flick comforting the player, but hopefully there it is going to be nothing serious, because obviously there has been lots of rumours surrounding Fermin this summer. Again, he's been quite heavily linked to Manchester United, and there is the possibility of big money coming in for him, big offers coming Barca's way. Could they be tempted by that? But I think the encouraging thing right now, what we're hearing in the media, Barca want to keep him. That's really good in my opinion to hear that the club really value Fermin Lopez. Hansi Flick is a big, big fan of him as well. And I'm thankful here that he appears not to be for sale, because I've got to say right now, looking at Fermin, looking at the way that he does suit this team, this style of play, looking at the way that he ended last season, I can see him having a fantastic campaign. I really, really can. I think the end of the season there was so important for him. The way that he played, to have that real run in the team, to feel important under Hansi Flick. And ultimately what it's about with Fermin is recapturing that confidence in front of goal. Because make no mistake, this man can score. He can seriously chip in with goals from midfield there. He makes fantastic runs. He finds himself in great positions in front of goal. And if he's got that finishing touch, if he's got that belief about him, he can be so incredibly effective. And from all different areas too, not just inside the box. He can really do damage from outside too. So I think Fermin, he's a top player. He is a top talent. We want to keep him at the club. And I think his importance in this team, it's going to grow in the season ahead of us. I'm really excited about him. And there is massive, massive competition in those attacking areas. So indeed, guys, what I would like today from you in the comments down below is, what are your expectations for Fermin Lopez in the current season there? And yesterday we spoke about Marcus Rashford. We spoke about how many goals could he score in the coming season. Well, what about Fermin? How many do you think that he could chip in with there? How high is his ceiling? And can he be a regular feature in this Hansi Flick team, in the campaign ahead of us here? Let me know in the comments down below all of your thoughts and feelings on everything we have discussed here today. I will see you tomorrow after the game. I'm excited here to see Barca yet again in action. And I thank you indeed for all of your incredible support, including there those really kind super thanks. I'll catch you all soon, but until next time, as always, Vejka, El Barça.